Our next speaker is Dr. Paul Dinakaran. He has an MBA, was the first student to the University of Madras to earn a PhD in management science at the age of 27. Today, he spearheads the Karuna University that was founded in 1986 with a divine vision to raise leaders in technology with high spiritual values and commitment to society.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama, revered men and women of God, serving society and caring for the people. It's indeed a great joy for me to be amongst you. I have traveled around the world and I found one nation which respects all religion, people of all religion, welcomes people of all religion, and that is the only and the one country, India. I have never found a country where all are inclusive, loved and cared for as our great nation. There may be exceptions, but it's only a minority. Let's look at the majority and let's have hope. And even today, we would not have come together to this meeting if that was not a reality. But then today, I am reminded of a scripture in the Bible which says, "How good and pleasant it is for brethren to live together in unity. For God commands a blessing there, and there is life evermore." And even today, I believe our coming together is going to bring life into every one of us and life into the nation itself. And God's blessing is going to come. And even today, I was reminded about the letter written by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to every one of us. And I was amazed at the way he opened the letter. He opened it as, "My precious brother." What humility, what love. And truly, that has brought us together as brothers. And when we come together as brothers and sisters, God commands life upon the nation, upon the people. And there is life evermore. And I have great hope that this is the beginning of God's blessing and life in India. And now, what unites us? What unites us? How does religion bring about spirituality? It's only suffering. Many years ago, I was waiting at the doors of the surgery, the operation theater where my father was fighting for his life. They were doing a heart surgery. And 4 hours passed by. The doctor said, "We are fighting still." And it was night, 9 o'clock, when they said, all the relatives of those waiting at the ICU and at the operation theaters, get into a room. There's a small semi-hall where you all have to get in. And we went in and we found mats on the floor. They said, "You can rest there," and everyone laid on the mat. And truly I found equality there. I found people of all religions coming together as one. It was suffering which united all of us. And I believe even today, it's only suffering which unites all people. And when a doctor came and spoke to me about my father, the nurse would announce my name and the doctor would come. Everyone would wake up. They would all ask, "What did the doctor say?" I would say, "He's still sinking." And they would all say, "We are praying, we are praying, we are praying." A Hindu, a Muslim, a Sikh, a Christian, all united in prayer at time of suffering to care for another one who is in tears. That's what binds us together. And that's what is spirituality. And not only the prayer for suffering, but also the mission of Caring for the suffering, which brings suffering, unites people. Religion is nothing but caring for the poor and the widows, says the scriptures. Caring for the suffering. And when we care for them, we go through suffering. I may be wearing a suit, but literally when I care for the people on the streets, in the places where they suffer, we go through suffering. Of course, today we heard about the Ebola virus, which is spreading everywhere. And one man from another country contracted the Ebola virus. Who was he? He was a doctor who went to care for these people. And he came back with that Ebola virus. Yes, when we go to care for the suffering, we too suffer. But it is at that time, all hearts of all people, of all religions gather together and pray for that person who goes through suffering in the cause of the mission of caring for someone else who suffers. This binds us together. When my sister Angel passed away at the age of 17, when my parents were going to beg a bank to give a loan to build a university to care for the poor people, our hearts were broken and no one could comfort us. But it was at that time the religious leaders, all the religious leaders, came to our home. We were surprised over the love that poured upon us from all religious leaders. They said, don't give up the mission. Your daughter is gone, but you have to build the university. And that strengthened us. And we went back and built the university. And behold, the first batch of students were the same age as my sister Angel. Today the university stands after 28 years. I still remember it was the encouragement given by all the religious leaders. People cried, but it was all the religious leaders who stood with us in that moment of agony. And we need each other to comfort each other in the mission of suffering. And all of us are human beings. And as we support each other in the moments of our personal suffering, it strengthens us so much that we go and care for those who are suffering in the world, which brings unity and life amongst the people. And finally, there were two people whom I would like to quote. Mr. Gandhi already mentioned it. The great Mahatma, when he was asked by a mother to advise her son to stop eating sweets, said, come back after 3 days and I will advise your child. He came back after 3 days and Mahatma explained about the ills of taking sweets. And the mother said, you could have done this 3 days before. But Mahatma said, I too love sweets. I have been eating sweets. So I had to restrain myself, sacrifice my pleasure of eating sweets. And then I could be ready to comfort, to counsel your son. That is righteousness. Suffering, to give away one's pleasure, to build the life of someone else. That is what is needed by all of us. Not self-righteousness, but personal sacrificial righteousness to build lives. And that's what the world expects from all of us. And finally, Mother Teresa. Her mother. There was a young girl who came and met her during the holidays and said, Mother, I'm a rich girl. Everyone serves me at home, but I want to be with you and serve the people. What should I do? Mother said, take the medicines that are there. Take the bandages. Take that water and go and cleanse that man who has just been brought in. He is a leper. The girl went, but came back running and said, Mother, don't send me to that man. He's stinking. He's awful to look at. I can't do it. But Mother took the medicines and went and bandaged his wounds and brought a smile to his face. The girl said, "How could you do it, mother?" She said, "When I looked at the wounds of that leper, of that man, I did not look at it as his wounds. I looked at it as the wounds of my Lord. I could not wash the wounds of my Lord on the cross. But today, I consider it that I'm washing the wounds of my Lord as I wash the wounds of these lepers." Yes, she connected the wounds of the Lord with the wounds of the leper. And when two unite, God brings life. God brings life. That's the mission God has given us, to care for the brokenhearted, the suffering, carrying the wounds that the Lord Almighty has when He looks at the people and He cries over their burdens. And God has chosen us to carry His love, to bind the wounds of the people. And as we do it, we'll be united with the people and we'll be united together. And God will send His life upon the world. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those wonderful words.